Russia has it out at the US president after Trump launched a scathing attack on Moscow over the alleged chemical weapons attack in Syria. Retaliating to Trump's tweet, Moscow said that the US missiles should target terrorists and not legitimate governments. Now, the Syrian issue has become bigger. Moscow's reply came minute after Trump tweeted against Moscow. In a tweet, President Trump had said, and I quote, "Russia vows to shoot down any and all missiles fired at Syria. Get ready, Russia, because they will be coming nice and new and smart. You shouldn't be partners with a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it." The tweet comes after Trump had said that he is considering a military retaliation in Syria. On Monday, Trump had told the media that the chemical weapons attack on civilians in Douma would be met forcefully on Twitter over the weekend. The US president had warned of a big price to pay for the attack. And let's go across to Jack Perrock, correspondent in Moscow. Jack, my first question to you is, I think it's unprecedented for any head of state to tweet about any other country which is a nuclear power.
Yeah, it was an absolutely extraordinary tweet, seeing the US president there telling Russia to get ready, that the missiles are coming. Especially when we look at the context of this, because the accusation from the Russian side that they would shoot down any US missiles came from the Russian ambassador to Lebanon in an interview with a Hezbollah TV channel Tuesday night. He said that his understanding was that the Kremlin and that the military organizations of Russia would be prepared to shoot down missiles. Now, today, during a press phone call with the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov, he said that the Kremlin wasn't willing to comment on that. But then we saw the Donald Trump tweet saying that Russia should get ready and that the missiles would be coming, and now we're seeing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia say that the missiles that the US is proposing should be hitting terrorist targets and not Syrian government targets. The Syrian government under President Bashar al-Assad is still supported heavily by the Russian government.
But Jack, what's surprising is even during the height of the Cold War, the leaders would show a degree of restraint when it came to public narrative or public statements. That narrative seems to have disappeared when it comes to the American foreign policy.
Well, Twitter wasn't invented back then, so generally the channels were much clearer. But it is certainly a new world that we live in, where a US president tweets to announce a potential bombing. Now, it could take some days for any bombs to be fired, if they were to. The Kremlin in Russia, here in Russia, is saying that all sides should exercise restraint and should desperately try not to increase the military tensions. If we were to see Russia shooting American missiles out of the sky, then that would be a direct confrontation, a direct military clash between two nuclear superpowers, and that would be extraordinary and also pretty scary for both citizens in the United States and in Russia and for people around the world. Now, what the US might do, if it is going to take a couple of days for some of its naval ships to get in place to send those missiles, if that's what they decide to do, they could ask French or British military forces to get involved as well. We know that Emmanuel Macron, he is incensed, the French president, he's incensed by the allegations of a chemical attack in the city of Douma in Syria over the weekend, and that he could potentially be involved in military operations with the United States in Syria.